Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Adventure. In the last part, we started off the game, and now here in this place. This place is known as Kett's. K-E-T-T, Kett. And we want to talk to these two people right here, because they gave us some information that we're going to need later, about the Marsh Cave, the Lizard Men, and the Mirror. That'll come into play a bit later. Welcome to Kett's. Rooms ahead are occupied. Please feel free to use the western room. You can't get past this door. It's for Mr. Lee. Okay then, let's go and use that room. Okay. And we have to use the bed on the left for... no, the bed on the right for some reason. I don't know why we can't just use one of the beds and she can't take the other. But no, we are screwed with the right one. That's not the right word, but either way. Alan? What? I think you should be able to use cure magic. Yeah, it should help. Read this! We got the magic book of cure and we learned it! Good night. Good night. Ah, nu victim. What? Huh? Ellie's missing. No. Let's go talk to... I think this guy's name is Kett. And figure that out. The location's called Kett. I'm not sure about this guy. Welcome to Kett. Same stuff. Your friend? No. I do not know her. Oh, that's bullshit. Either way, now it's time for us to continue on. We need to get into that marsh cave that I think that woman mentioned in the room up there. But to do that, we need to kill the lizard men at their nest and get the bronze key that drops in a chest there. Also, I grinded up to level 10 off screen. Though, that's going to be kind of pointless showing you that now, because later in the part I'm going to do more grinding. And after the part ends, I'm going to do more grinding. A lot of grinding in early game. Then again, that's just me being safe. Lizard men are pretty good, because they can drop cure potions, which is pretty awesome. But for killing them all, this drop chest, this chest drops, which has the bronze key, which we need to use to enter the marsh cave. Which is northeast of us at the moment. And don't worry about these little mud guys, we'll kill them later. Because we don't have the means to do that until this next area. Oh, hey, a red mage! I haven't seen... Well, actually, I think this is one of their only other appearances, because they only appear in, this... Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 3, and I think Final Fantasy 5. Anyway, you don't need to use the bronze key past this place, by the way. Your friend is missing. Many girls have disappeared in that place. They must be kept in the caskets at the basement. Looking for the mirror? Do you want me to help? Sure. And now this guy's helping us. What he does when you ask him is... He tells you that some walls might be broken with the Morning Star or Mattock, so we'll eventually get a weapon that can do that. And the walls should sound different when we hit them. It's pretty much a Zelda element. You stab a sword, you stab the wall with your sword, it'll make a different sound if you can break it. And he actually does attack. He shoots fireballs out of things. So might as well go... Oh, first off, a lot of the enemies in this area can poison you, so watch out for that. Though Cure in this game, when you select it, it works as an instant heal. It doesn't regenerate like it does when Ellie uses it. So I might as well go over some stuff that's happening at the moment in terms of gaming news. E3 is currently going on. The World Championship just ended. One of the Zelda Ocarina of Time speedrunners got runner-up, so that's pretty awesome. What else? First off, oh yeah, Ryu and Roy are in Smash, yes! And, you know, the Mega Man Legacy Collection, which is all cool and all. I can tell it's Capcom just kind of going... Yeah, I remember the series, but at the same time, if it gets purchased enough, they might still reinvigorate the series. Anyway, here we get a Chain Sickle, which is our next weapon type. And, you know, we can't get back through that little ice thing. That's why we equip the Chain Sickle. Chain Sickle, what it does for attack is that it can not only get rid of enemies all around you, but can also cut down leaves. And its willpower charge, by the way, I cut back to the entrance for time saving. And these bubbles can only be killed by fire. When the Chain Sickle gets a willpower charge, it just gets more range. It extends to a higher range around you. Anyway, going back to what I was saying earlier about news in gaming recently. Earthbound 1, or Mother 1 rather, Earthbound 0, either or, just got an official release. Which is all sorts of exciting. If we purchase it enough, we might actually finally get Mother 3. Which, as a guy who loves Earthbound, that's a really good thing. This here's a healing spring. It's pretty simplistic. Also, I know me talking about E3 and stuff is kind of dating this video entirely. In fact, I'll just tell you right now, the current date is June 15th. But still, it's stuff that I like talking about. Like, there's that Rare replay thing, where it's like 30 of Rare's most famous games on one thing. Mind you, I don't have an Xbox of any kind, so that's kind of out of reach for me. Because I'm a Nintendo Sony man. Anyway, we want to head here to the right. And we got a room that's basically your Sonic Rush Kill Them All room. And for doing so, we get a chest which contains the Iron Shield. Shields in this game don't increase your defense. What they do is that they change the projectiles you can reflect. With the Iron Shield, we can now reflect fireballs, like the ones that, nameless citizen here is shooting. Actually, yeah, we don't know his name. You know what? Until he eventually does get named, I shall proceed to name you Reggie. Yeah. Anyway, from here on out, one thing they do that's kind of dickish on their part, honestly, is that they start hiding stairs underneath stone. That's kind of mean. Also, I have no idea what these little dragon things are supposed to be. In fact, that's actually one thing that's kind of odd about this game. All of the enemies obviously do have names, but they also all have official art. Mind you, they all had to have art at some point to get their sprite work done, but it's like all easily findable. Like, you can find it on the Final Fantasy Wiki with ease if you just look up the enemy list. And not many games do that. So that's cool and all. I honestly forget what happens by this point in the remake, because I don't like the remake that much. It's a good game and all, but it's a bit too much like the sequels that this game got. Because they bring in a lot of the Secret of Mana gameplay elements like the ring system and such, and I'm not a big fan of that. Anyway, what you're supposed to do here is walk across the top, and then press on this switch using the mattock, but for some reason, the switch decided not to work for about 45 seconds. By the way, we're over here to our first real boss, the Hydra. Basic strategy, stay up here, and attack. He'll eventually just walk into your sickle enough times that he dies. I obviously recommend healing when completely necessary, but thankfully Reggie will also attack fairly consistently too. Though he seems to be stuck in the wall at the moment, I just now realize. And like all good bosses, he explodes, and leaves a bridge which contains the Magic Book of Fire, so we have a first attack magic. And the mirror. Show it to the guy at Kett's. He'll scream and show his true colors. Bye. And now we're back out here, but now what I do is that I grind until I'm level 15. I'm going overkill. So here's what my stats are looking like with all that. Yeah, that's a lot of experience. And you're still saying the exact same stuff. By the way, I have the mirror equipped. That mirror. Oh god, he's a werewolf. He threw me into the door. He's a werewolf, oh no, he's so easy. Seriously, he's just basically another enemy. I think he might actually become a normal mook later on, too. If I recall correctly. So now it's time for the actual dungeon part of Kett's. This is actually a pretty lengthy dungeon for this point in the game. Well, beat at this part, don't get me wrong. But it's pretty easy to get lost in here. Anyway, the way magic works in this game is that, like items, it goes on the B button. And each one does have its own unusual effects. Fire in this game is pretty much like a homing missile. And some enemies can only be killed by it, like the mudmen outside the Kett's area. Those little guys that I couldn't kill with my sword or axe or sickle. They can also drop ethers, which restore you by, I think, 8 MP. Which is pretty good. In fact, I have one in my inventory right there. Is it ether or ether? I can never tell. I used to say either a lot, just like how I used to say orichalcum, where it's like orichalcum for Kingdom Hearts and such. Also, these zombies remind me a lot of certain other games. In fact, what game am I thinking of in particular? Probably Earthbound due to the zombie city section. God, I hate that section. I should really play through Earthbound again, though, because it's been a while since I've done that. Yeah, that's grammar. Then again, that's one of those games that I've been wanting to Let's Play forever, but I just never get the motivation to. I started taking notes at some point, but I stopped doing that for some reason. Anyway, okay, knock me into the next screen, fine. There's stairs up there, but we can't get up there yet. Well, we can get up there, but we can't do anything up there until we get another item. So let's use a mattock to break these pots. Since we are not Link, we cannot break them with our sword. And continue on to down here where there's spikes. I've actually never walked into them, so I don't know if they damage you. One of the best things about level ups in this game is that if you time them right, they are very useful. Because not only do your stats level up, as is obvious for a level up, but if you notice every time I've leveled up, they also completely restore your HP and MP. Oh, now I'm trapped. But we get the Chain Whip, which is our next weapon. Chain Whips are very ranged weapons. They go very far in front of you, and I think almost anything they touch is damaged. Like, even the chain, I think, counts as damage. And you can also get them to whip onto posts, which is a game mechanic that would be later reused in Secret of Mana. And its willpower charge is that it gets more range. So now I can go wee! So that's pretty useful. Has a good amount of range, too. This is the kind of weapon I generally stick with, honestly. Whether or not that's my Castlevania speaking or not, I don't know. Actually, thinking about it, could you ever find an actual whip in the Metroidvanias? I mean, fine, why not, like, start with one like, what's-his-face in... I'm forgetting the name of the game because it was so boring. Harmony Dissonance. Because Arya's Sorrow, you find a whip sword, but that's not a whip. You only get the leather whip, really, in, Circle of the Moon. Symphony of the Night, no, and I don't think you can get a whip, well, actually, what's-his-face in, Portrait of Ruin has a whip, but I forget if you can find new ones. It's been a while since I played some of the Metroidvanias, actually. I really should get on that. I really do like Arya Sorrow. And Dawn of Sorrow. Not Harmony Dissonance, though. That's really boring. Also, if you, little trick. If you're overwhelmed with enemies on the screen, or there's one in the way of your progress, if you leave the screen and come back, enemies will actually completely change. Getting back to the game here, because I was on a tangent there for a bit. Mind you, I do tangents a lot, don't I? And we actually need to break this little pot here with the mattock, because it hides a staircase. How a tiny little piece of pottery doesn't fall down or covers a staircase, I don't know. And we get a crystal. Enemies around this point also start dropping items that cast spells of varying types that we won't be able to use for a while. They're fairly useless, though, aside for selling. Ellie! Oh, Alan! Let's get out of here. I think she's always in the same place, and she still has her ask command to heal you, so that's nice. But now I have to backtrack all the way out of here, but I leveled up along the way, so that's pretty cool. That's my victim. Time to face Mr. Lee, the vampire. Basic strategy is that he goes around a circle, and when he opens his cape, you can damage him. Or I think you can damage him at any point, really. He just takes a couple of whips to the face, really. Now, one thing I'm not sure about this guy is whether or not his name is a verbal pun off the word mystery, or if he's a reference to Christopher Lee, may he recently rest in peace. That's a tragedy, really, to me. But I'll never be able to tell. But either way, very easy boss, as you just noticed. But for beating him, we get the Magic Book of Sleep and learn it. Are you alright, Ellie? Yeah. Alright, that was an area. Wendell's to the south. Let's hurry. Alright, but with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 3, we'll be continuing towards the town of Wendell. See you guys then.